Hi, I'm Kelly from Kelly J Jewellery, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this double bail heart pendant. I've added a few little extra beads. My stone is drilled, but this design is made for undrilled stone. I've put a list in the description below of everything you'll need to make this pendant, as my dog making silly sounds. Don't forget to subscribe. To make this pendant you'll need 0.8mm wire, that's 20 gauge, and I've cut two lengths at 17 inches, that's 43 centimetres. I'm going to be using a bead today, which is drilled. You can make this without the stone being drilled, so if you're using a cab, you just need the two lengths of wire. If your cab is drilled, then I'm going to add a little bead at the bottom. You'll need an extra little bit of wire, and that is 8 centimetres long, that's 3 inches. So this is 0.8mm wire, 20 gauge. My weaving wire is 0.315mm, which is 28 gauge, and you'll need about 300 centimetres of that. My stone, my heart stone, is 25mm by 28mm. You can use any size stone you like, and this may work on an oval bead or other shaped beads as well, or stones. So do give it a try, and I'd love to know how that works out, but it should be fine. Tools, we've got pliers, round nose pliers, wire cutters and nylon pliers. So I'm using my xuron tweezer nose pliers. Those are my main ones that I use, and then my other tools are Tronex. So I've got the short round nose Tronex, I've got the razor flush cutters, and then my standard nylon pliers. I've put affiliate links in the description below. If you're thinking of buying tools like what I use, then please buy through my links. They're all in the description below, along with a list of everything I've just said that you'll need. So as I said, this design is made for an undrilled stone, just a normal heart-shaped bead. But because mine is drilled, I'm just going to take advantage of that, and I'm going to dangle a little bead from the bottom. So I'm going to do that first. So if yours is just a standard stone, then that's fine, don't worry. I'm just going to add this little bead to the bottom. So I'm just going to put a tight little tiny curl in the top of my wire. And I'm just going to grab that and straighten it up. And I'm going to pop that through the stone. And then where it comes out the bottom, I'm going to put a little curl on that too. So just so I can dangle a little bead off it when it's finished. So I'll just wrap that around for now. So when we're done with the rest of the design, I can just dangle a little bead off the bottom. 7.5 inches from the beginning of the wires, so that's 19 centimetres. So take your weaving wire, and we'll start with 3 wraps around that bottom wire. And then we'll go 3 wraps around both wires. And that'll be our repeat. 3 wraps around the bottom wire, 3 wraps around both wires. And keep pushing your weave together as you work, and keep repeating that. So I've done 14 repeats. That little 3-3 weave. And now I'm going to bend the weave around to make a loop. And you want to bend it so that your woven wire is on the outside and all these little wraps are on the inside. And you can see they actually push together as you bend it. So it bends nicely in that direction. And keep bending these outer parts out. So we want to make a nice little loop, and this will sit on the back. Like that. Separate out the wires a little. I think you're weaving wire up between the two wires. And we'll go around those middle two wires just to hold everything together. We'll go around those a few times. Sit across the back of the stone there. So if your stone is smaller than mine, you'll need to do a smaller loop, you'll need to do less repeats. You need the loop to be about that big to the actual size of the stone. So it's going to sit like that. Work a bail over all 4 wires. So take your weaving wire around the second wire. We're counting 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've gone around the second wire. Then we go around the first and second wire, and we'll go around those twice. Then we'll come up between those bottom 2 wires, and we'll go over that second wire. And we'll go straight over the third wire. Go around the third wire. Then we'll go around the top 2 wires twice. Then we'll go around that third wire again. And that's our repeat. So we come over to the other side. So now we go around that second wire. Go around that second wire, then we go around the 2 bottom wires. Go around those twice. Then we go between the 2 wires, so we've gone around that second wire there. So it's just a wrap around the single wire, then around 2 wires, then the single wire, and we're doing that on both sides. So now we'll go straight over to the other side. We'll go around the single wire, twice around both wires, then once around the single wire, and then over to the other side. Once around the single wire, twice around both wires, and then once around the single wire, and then over to the other side. So we just keep repeating that a few more times. I've done a few more repeats of that weave onto the bail, and I've done about 1.5 centimetres of repeats. So now we need to shape the top part for the bail. So hold your wire, and you don't want your wires to come together. If your wires come together, they're going to crimple all this lovely weave. So you've got to keep your wires apart, and you want to bend the 2 wires together from the outsides to come in to form a nice diamond shape. and then we're going to continue carrying on with this repeat of the weave all the way up until we reach the top here. And as you weave in, the weave will continue to try and slide down the wires. So you just got to hold it in place as you go. But keep repeating that weave until you reach the top there. If we shape the top as well. So grab your wires at the top where they join. We're going to bend them apart. So we've got this shape. And now we'll continue weaving up to that neck there. So I've repeated up to that neck join there. You can see they're a little bit more spaced out at the top. It is harder to stop them sliding up as they go. So now we're going to shape our bail. You'll need like a pen or something, or bail pliers if you've got them. And we're just going to bend it forward. So you want to position your pen across the front part where the widest bit is. And we're just going to wrap that over to make that shape. Now I'm going to take my pliers and I'm just going to shape this back part back a little bit. Just bent it back a little bit so it's out of the way. And I'm going to gently push these two parts together. Now I'm going to take the two middle wires and I'm going to bend them and I'm going to post them through the loop. Just the middle two wires, straight through the loop. So wriggle the bail forwards so that the wires are quite, the weave finish is quite flush there to the loop. We're going to bend these wires around to the back, straight up. My wires have crossed over a bit there. So we've got a little bail with a loop on the back. It is bent again. I'm just going to bend that back. And those two wires from the front go straight through the loop and up the back. And we need to post our weaving wire through the back as well. So if you're working off a bobbin, we'll need to cut that through now. We'll need about a metre. About a metre of weaving wire. Shouldn't need any more than that. That was just a little plastic sewing bobbin. This is what my wire comes on. The Silverfield does anyway. So now we're going to work along these two wires. We need to post that weaving wire very close to the camera here so it's hard to show you. Post the weaving wire through the loop, untangle it from all my tools, and I've got it. So what I'm actually doing is a double bail. We're now going to work another bail onto these two wires that sits over that middle section of bail. So then we'll end up with the wires coming down here again to meet with these. So take these two wires, you want to pull them apart a little bit but not too much. We'll attach them together first at the bottom, I think. So we'll start with 3 wraps around the bottom wire. keeping the wires together. So I'm going to wrap around both of the wires. Wrapped around both of the wires 3 times. I'll probably go around 5 times, just to hold them together. So from this position here, you want your wires to come out a little. Not as much as the underneath wires, because you still want to see those lovely weaves. So you want them to come out a bit like that. And now we're going to weave across these 2. So we'll go 3 wraps around the bottom wire. Then we'll go straight over the top wire and let that wire slide right down to the bottom. And we'll go 3 wraps around that wire. And then bring your wire over to this side, so we go straight over this bottom wire. And we go 3 times around that wire. And that's our repeat. So 3 wraps over to the other side and 3 wraps, and make sure you keep these wires apart, that they don't come together. And you need to weave just up to the top of the bail there. So keep repeating that till you reach to the top of the bail. So I've done quite a few repeats on that. I'm going to gently bend that over the weave so you can see how it's going to sit. So I'm now at the top, the very top of the bail. So I need to bend my wires in now to make that diamond shape as we did before. And we need to guess so that the shape reaches to the bottom here. I think it's going to be about that big. Bend them out, but we'll do a gentle, we won't do any definite sharp bends. Just do a gentle bend so we can alter it if I've guessed it wrong. And then we keep weaving along here and then bend the weave over the bail. So I bent the weave straight over the previous weave, and I've done the repeats down here, and my wire's just ended. So that's what we've got so far. So this is the back, the loop goes on the back, and this is the front. So now I've got 2 wires on one side and 2 wires on the other. And I'm going to cut off that tail end. It's going to sit with the loop at the back, and I've bent these wires straight out because as it sits, it's going to sit like this. So we've got the bail directly on the top. So with your loop at the back, so all these wires are now at the front, we're going to work across the 2 wires on the right hand side. So take your weaving wire, and we're going to start with 3 wraps around the top wire. Push that down into place. I'm holding the tail against the bail so that it keeps it there. And then we're going to go 3 wraps around both wires, and we want them to sit next to each other as we go. So that's our repeat. 3 wraps around the top wire, 3 wraps around both wires, and we'll repeat that 12 times. 12 repeats of that weave. I need to just cut off that tail end. And I'm going to cut this weaving wire, but I'm going to leave a short length in case I need to add any more repeats to that. And now I'm going to do the same for the other side. Exactly the same as this. So you've got 3 wraps around the top wire. Let's turn it around to make it easier. So we're working on the other side and it needs to mirror this side. So now we'll have 3 wraps on the bottom wire and 3 wraps on both wires, and we'll do 12 repeats on this side as well. So I've done 12 repeats on that side too. Lose that tail. And so that's what we've got so far. So I'm going to pull both these weaves up. Need them facing straight up. So this is the fiddly bit, holding the stone in place so we've got something to lean on. And we're going to pull the weave over this way to start with, like that. The stone, because it's just too fiddly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this weave and I'm going to carefully bend it around. And I need to keep it nice and flat. I'm going to bend it around to go over that side. Like that, and I want it to be flat, so I'm just straightening it out with my pliers. I'm going to push this weave over to the right, pull it over to the right. So it comes around in a nice scoop like that. Getting myself into a right knot here. Same for this side as well. So pulling it down to start with, and then I'm going to scoop it around in the other direction. And pull it around to form a heart shape, or 2 loops on the front of the weave. I'm going to pull that flat as well. So we've got a little heart shape. It is going to turn into a bow. So I'm just going to have a play around with that for a bit. So I've tweaked with that shape a bit until I've got a nice heart shape with those 2 weaves that I'm happy with. So the wires have come, the weaves have come around tightly and then scooped around to do a heart shape. And then when the wires get to here, I'm going to scoop them out, getting myself in the right knot here. So make sure you've compressed your weaves. And we're going to scoop these wires out. We're not going to add any more weaves to this, so I can cut off that tail end. Put my my weaving wire is still attached on this side. So now I'm going to weave across all 4 wires just to hold the wires together. Come up between the 2 wires. I'm going to wrap around those middle 2 a few times just to get them to hold together. Go underneath the bottom wire and around the bottom 2 wires, up between the bottom 2 wires and around the middle 2 wires, up between that middle 2 wires, over the top, just to tie them all together. Back in because we need to shape the rest of these wires. You need to push your stone quite firmly up to the top so it sits quite flush against that bail, the bail weaves. And we're going to scoop these wires around to the side and we're going to spread them out a little as we do so, like that. You want it now to be quite symmetrical because we're going to weave across these 2 open wires and then we're going to finish it off. We're nearly done now. Shaping of those wires. Bring your weaving wire underneath this bottom wire and we're going to work just across these 2. We're going to go 3 times around the bottom wire. Straight over the second wire, 3 times around that. And try not to move these wires as you weave in. So that's I repeat. Try and keep the wires as they sit. Try not to pull them together as you go. So don't pull too hard as you go over your next wire. So go over the opposite wire and around 3 times. And then over the opposite wire and around 3 times. And keep repeating that. When you'll need to repeat it, the distance it takes to reach to the edge of the bead. And we need to do that on both sides. So I've repeated that weave until it reaches the edge of the stone visually from the front. Remember to push the stone right up into the bail. So when you reach that point, we're going to leave that wire there. Continue to add coils to this top wire, this bottom wire. And then we'll do the same to the other side. So I've just added a few coils to that single wire. I'm going to leave a short length in case I need to add any more. And I shall go and do the weave on the other side. And I've added the coils as I did for that side. I need to lose that tail end from the beginning. And if I position my stone in, that's what we've got so far. And the weave reaches to the end of the stone like that. I'm going to cut this weaving wire, leave a little bit in case I want to add a bit more to that. So I'm going to do these bottom wires. I'm just going to add a little curl to those. And then those are going to go around the back as well. Same on this side. Try and match it up to get it the same size as that one. more or less. Like that. So you can see it's starting to take shape now. Now we're going to secure the wires around the back. So you need to make sure that you're 100% happy with the shapes that you've got so far. And then holding your stone firmly in place where you want it to sit. Nice and high up against the bail. Hold it all firmly in place and gently start to bend these wires around to the back. So now we need to finish and secure these wires around that weave. I'm going to lose these tail ends. And I'm going to cut a bit of length off these wires because they're a little bit long to handle, just so they're a bit easier to post underneath. So then we need to post these wires underneath this loop. Without misshaping it too much. So I've changed my mind because that's going to misshape the front. It's best just to put the wires straight over and around that. So I'm going to cut them off a little bit shorter. I'm taking round nose pliers. I'm just going to wrap them straight around. So you want to pull them nice and flat so they've secured the stone in place and they're holding it quite well. And then take these wires and bend them around, straight around that weave. We need to do the same for the other side too. So I've secured those, I've wrapped them around quite firmly and I've pulled on them so they're quite tight. And keep checking your shape as you're securing it at the back. Push these loops down as well because they kept sticking up. And that will hold the stone firmly in place. Just need to cut these off because I've got some sharp bits sticking out. And that's the bulk of the design done really. It's all held firmly in place by the loop on the back. That's really solid. We've got a nice double bail. So you can stop there if you like. But I've decided I'm going to add a few little beads to finish it off. So using my bits of scrap wire, take my weaving wire. This is a 4mm bead. Put that in the middle of my little bit of weaving wire. And I'm going to attach it to sit just above the heart there. take both ends of the wire to the back. And I've put it back in place, and I'm just going to secure this by wrapping these bits of wire around the bottom of the bail there. I've attached that one. I'm going to take another piece of scrap and another 4mm bead. Because you can add as many beads or no beads at all if you don't want to. Just adds a nice finish to the pendant if we just add a few little beads. That's my dog snoring in the background. I'm going to sit this one right in the middle there, as long as I can hide the wire. And I shall attach those wires again around the bail at the back. I shall just post them through the bail. That's that bead done. Just press the wire down either side of the bead so it's not so obvious. And I'm going to dangle a little bead off the bottom because my stone is drilled. So again, taking another piece of scrap wire. I'm going to put a curl on the end. And that'll be the top part that attaches to there. And I've got a couple of 3mm beads, and I think that is about a 5mm bead. Might be a little bit bigger. It's not as big as an 8. It's one of my smaller beads. And then what I do, that's my dog having a good snore. Oh dear. Is wrap it around pliers, around the bead, around the next bead, around the last bead, and then I can just bend it over and finish it off at the bottom. Just to make a little dangly bead at the bottom. Squeeze it all down. And I shall attach that. And there we have it, finished. I hope you found this tutorial easy to follow and I didn't mumble too much. You can add as many extra little beads on at the end as you like, really. You could add a few more up here, or you could put another bead in the middle here. There we go, a double bailed heart pendant. Thanks for watching.